Hello, and welcome to another instructional video on the MiSTer FPGA system. This time we'll be looking at the MiSTer database for work in progress cores. Now, before I get too far along, I would like to remind you to please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and leave a comment, send this to your friends. Tell everybody and their brother, no, whatever. Just if you're so inclined, it's just a reminder because sometimes people don't realize, or they don't, and they think, oh yeah, so this is just a reminder. I'm not looking to be monetized or get money and all that sort of stuff. I'm doing this as a public service announcement, and I just want more people to be able to enjoy this or benefit from these videos. Hopefully, that's what they're for. Anyway, with that said, let's get on to the core, or the database of cores is essentially what it is. Now, I just want to stress this, very, very important. Do not raise any issues for the cores downloaded unless the developer explicitly has asked for them, okay? Because what happens is if they get tired of getting bombarded with things saying stuff doesn't work when they already know stuff doesn't work, they're just going to be like, no, I'm just going to work on this on my own and not let people look at it yet. This is just this is just for our advantage to be able to get a sneak peek at something before it gets taken into the what do you call it, the official MiSTer main, not the MiSTer main itself, but the core. I think it says main in here, but anyway, so all you do is really easy to use it. You simply copy and paste it below to the bottom of your downloader.ini file found at mediafat.downloader.ini. So let's go there right now. I have my MiSTer turned on and I'm connected to it, and I'm just going to bring that window up. Boom, here's the window for it. Now I'm using it like a Samba share, SMB share, Windows type share. And so it's at my IP address, which is this, and I'll show you on the MiSTer how to look for that. Yours likely will be different, and then SD card in this case instead of MediaFAT. But if you're going SFTP, it's definitely MediaFAT. Or if you actually have the SD card pulled out and you're looking at it, it's MediaFAT. So you just put it in the root here, right? So here's your downloader. Now I'm just going to open it with Notepad++. You can use whatever editor you like. And I would just paste it right in here. There it is right there. I've already pasted it, so I'm not going to repaste it, but you can just copy. Here, I'll just close this out, just to get it out of the way. You do it right there. You can edit it right in place. But if you want to back it up, you can right click on this. It's going to complain because it's a network drive. Maybe no, it didn't. All right, and you can go to copy and paste, right? So it'll paste the copy, and then you can have this as backup. Sometimes you can change the extension to it's so it doesn't actually look for it as an INI file, but it's fine here, I think. Something like that, and save it. I'm just gonna get rid of it though because I don't need it. That way, in case you mess up your downloader.ini file, you have a backup and you can restore. Okay. If you're using MiSTer Companion or what's the other one, like WinSCP, it may not let you edit in place, so you can download the file, edit the file, then upload it back up to the thing. Or like I said, you can take the SD card out and just mount the SD card in your computer too directly if you want. That's, I think, a little bit of a pain to take it out of MiSTer and put it back in the MiSTer, but that's also an option. So I'm not gonna say don't do it. If that works better for you, you could do that. That's it as far as setting up the config, right? All right, and I'll show you in a minute on the MiSTer how you see what the IP is, so you can know that, and we'll go through some of the cores. I'm not going to actually play them all because I don't have ROMs and stuff set up for them, because these are what I've got for a few. I'll show you like one. I'll show you the 3DO core because I think that one's not up and that one's most excited. Battletoads. Now here's the one that's the arcade stuff goes in the arcade folder. Okay, so you're not going to know if it's a work in progress one. That's the only thing you got to be careful for. But it's Battletoads. I think that's the only one that's in here for work in progress. And then all these others go in an unstable folder. So you'll know which ones are unstable. We've got the 3DO, Atari Jaguar. This is the one that requires dual RAM. The main one, or the regular one that's out, um, is a single RAM core. Does not work as good. I think it's a little slower or something. I did a video on it, and I didn't notice much of a difference, but I did a video on it, so that's already done. But this one's here. The Connex multi-system. There's some computer cores, Acorn System 1, Basic Master Junior, Elon Enterprise, FM Towns. That's a really cool computer. I wonder how good this core is. How far along it is, how if you can do anything with it. PC98, that one I would love to have a nice working core of that. SparkStation 5 and SparkStation 20, that's pretty cool. Those are old workstations, by Sun systems, if I understand correctly. That would be kind of neat. Anyone who was working in the industry at the time of the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe, is familiar with these systems, and they're pretty cool, old nostalgic stuff. They're not really game systems, but that's not what this is about. This is about preservation of old systems. A lot of them do play games, so that's kind of neat. The Thomson MO5 MO6, that is a French computer from the 80s. Quite interesting. I've seen some videos on it, or at least one, and I thought it was interesting, and I got sort of nostalgic for it because it reminded me of things I saw on computers in the 80s, even if it wasn't necessarily a system that I played with, similar to my experience with the ZX Spectrum, but that's for another time. The 68,000, the X68000 core. This is PU's fork. The keyboard doesn't work, less stable fork than the current one in main repo. So the main repo one, I recommend just using the main repo one. This is one actually that you can get from, because this is just an HTML page, regular, I think, an archive. What you can do is, there are a few places where you can just get unstable stuff directly from them. If you want like the nightlies, that's different than this core. I think I'll describe that a little bit here as well. There are some utility cores. This 240p test suite core. I don't know if you want it, what if you're doing 240p stuff, which might be, that's something to do. Mem test for the second RAM slot. That's interesting because I do have a dual RAM setup. So if I wanted to test the memory in the second RAM slot, I could use that. Maybe that's why it's unstable, or why it's in the works in progress, because it's for second RAM slot that most people don't have. So it's not one of the main things. JD SDRAM test, 48K, 96K. These are just test things that aren't in the main builds. Other cores in unstable folder, Gigatron, a Mandelbrot or Mandelbrot thing that draws the Mandelbrot set. Look that up if you're interested in it. It's a neat fractal thingy. Too much to go into for this video. Nan to Tetris, I guess it's some sort of Tetris variant thing. So interesting. So that's what there are other things in here that aren't listed. Because you go into this unstable folder where it puts things, and there's other things. Okay, there's your second RAM test, whatever. But there's like Bubble Universe that wasn't listed. There's your 68K one. FM Towns. There's a fractal one. There's a GBA accuracy core. There's your Gigatron. There's some hack thing. But there's like this Laser 500 that wasn't mentioned, but it's here. That may be something that's already in the main, and that's why he didn't mention it. I don't know, because I know there's a laser of some kind in there, etc. That's just this N64DD that's not listed, and that's more recent. I don't know. So you may get, there's a 32X core. There's a Snake game. You may get those down. You'll get those down too, because those are listed. So I don't know. Maybe this just hasn't been updated yet. It's fine. Don't complain. It's bleeding edge stuff. Okay. It's just stuff that's on the horizon, hopefully coming soon, but we don't know. And you get to mess with it. The coolest thing out of all this, that I'm aware of, at least the farthest along, is the 3DO core. So that is going to be a lot of fun playing with, and I will show you that, and it works pretty well. So we'll take a small look at that. Let's see. Before I go on to the MiSTer, maybe I should look up some of the other ones where you get the unstable things. Okay. So just I will pause a moment. You won't notice, but I'll pause and I'll come right back. And I'm back. So here is an unstable build of the. This is under MiSTer Unstable Nightlies, and this is the X60 out 8000 core. So you can get newer stuff here. Like this one's from 3 weeks ago, 2026 06/15, so June 15th. We're in July now. Um, yeah, I don't know if I have that one. That's an improved one. You get it. Some of these though will require the unstable MiSTer main core, and you can mess around with that. I'll just say a lot of people that I'm making these videos for are really not interested, and they just want to get the stuff once they're in update all. So, maybe you don't want to do this, but it is really easy. You just download this, you stick it in wherever. I would stick it in unstable because it's unstable, and you stick it there, and then you're safe to run your unstable stuff with your unstable core and what have you, and you can even get your unstable MiSTer main, which for the most part those are pretty stable. They just have new features. Um, but not always. So you always want to back up your MiSTer main if you're doing that. You know what? I probably should bring that up too. So one moment. Okay, here is the MiSTer Unstable Nightly for the main one. So if you get one that says it requires or doesn't work at all, and you find that it requires an unstable MiSTer main and whatever version, this is where you get it. This is the MiSTer main. This is the unstable one, Nightly of MiSTer main. I think. And what's weird is I thought I had this bookmark, but I don't see it. But this is the official one. Um, you're looking for this. This doesn't matter. You're just looking for the one that's called MiSTer. I think you just download it from here. I know I had this bookmark somewhere, but I cannot find it. Uh, Releases. It should be in releases. Yeah. So these are all the different MiSTers. So you get the newest one, June 3rd. These aren't all actually nightly. I think there is a place to get actual nightly ones, maybe, but just grab the most really recent one if you need it. I'm not going to go too much into that because that's more if you're experimental and you want to do it. Also, sometimes people release cores, test for testing on the MiSTer Discord, so you could go in there and look at it. The only thing about the MiSTer Discord is that it's very active, very busy, and there are a lot of channels, and it's very difficult to find stuff. You have to use the search and all that, so you really got to know what you're doing if you want to get stuff there. So it's a little bit, I think, over and above what most people um, who would like these guides, who aren't going out and looking for the bleeding edge on their own, um, would want to do. But it's there. I'll leave links to the stuff so that you can have the links and you can go find them, and get that and go ahead and find them, download them if you're interested. I'll put the links for the stuff. And let's see, we're going to go on from there. Let's go on to the MiSTer itself now. So what you would do for those, you would just put them in. There's this unstable folder right under the main, in the root. So, media fat or SD card right in here. And you just go into unstable and put them there. So let me show you real quick how to see the IP address. I do this pretty much every video. Here, this is the IP address. So you hit back and then left to get to this screen, and it'll show you your IP right there. It's 192.168.0.105. That's my IP address. Yours is likely different. That's why you need to go to this page to find out what the IP address is. It can change. It may not always be the same. The default settings, it can vary depending on your router. So your IP may vary, and you may need to check this from time to time to see what it is, especially if you've just done an update, like an update all, and it had to reboot because it updated Linux or something like that. The IP is most likely to change at that time. So that's that out of the way. We're going to go to unstable, and here's where all the unstable cores are. And you'll see these ones that I was just showing you. There's a CDI one. I don't think CDI was in there. I think I might have downloaded that before the CDI was official. It's in the official one now. There's that Bubble Universe one that I saw. This one I downloaded myself from the MiSTer Discord, Atari Lynx 2-player version. It's still pretty. It kind of locks up and stuff after a while, so it's not great for playing 2-player, but it does proof of concept. So maybe when that gets a little better, or maybe it gets released, gets fixed, and it'll be released soon after that. The same guy who did the Game Gear 2-player one did this one, so likely this will come out soon. But it's kind of neat. I don't really. It's not really done enough for me to do a thing on it. The 3DOs what we'll look at. It's pretty cool. So there's all these. There's these. There's the Jaguars. There's a couple of dual ones. I think I may have downloaded one, or it came down different because it changed to capital D, so it's two separate. There's your SD-RAM tests, the JT1, the Conix. There's a Laser 500 I mentioned. There's a couple different like Mandelbrot sets. There's the N64DD. This one, this NES one, is one that I think I put here. I was testing something perhaps. That's not in the set. But this is where I put mine. I don't know. That was, I think, was in there. There's the 32X. A lot of these Saturn Unstable ones is when the Saturn core was under like heavy development, and I downloaded most of these. I don't think the Saturn Unstable stuff was in that list even. So that's just stuff that I downloaded. This is the save state version of the SNES core, which I believe is now integrated into the main one. So that was me testing ahead of time. These are the Spark stations, the STV Unstable, which is from a while back. The Virtual Boy one, which I don't know if that was in there. I may have downloaded that myself. This is the Versus NES. That's something that is fun, and I may take a look at in another episode, but it's still not released yet. That is something I want to look at. Here's the various X68000 cores. These are the ones that I downloaded on my own, and I put them in here. So in case you're interested, that's where you do it. That's where you put it. That's basically it as far as how to do it. If you're just interested in the simple stuff that comes down with update all, you can just put that in your downloader.ini file that I mentioned earlier. And maybe that's all you want, and that's fine. And you play with it. Just for grins and fun, we'll play a little bit of. I'll show you some 3DO stuff. I'll show you the game that I am most interested on the 3DO. And there's no ROM loaded right now, so I have to hit the correct button here and input in my ISO. And I got these just to test, gex, of course, and I got Killing Time, Star Control 2. Star Control 2, of course, is the one that I am most interested in. I love Star Control 2 is just amazing. So let's just go through the intro on it and just show you how much it does work. And I'll go into the game a little bit so that you can see that it does. It's worth, messing around with. No guarantees that you can get through the whole game or anything because it's still a work in progress, but it may be possible.
It is the year 2155. The people of Earth now travel between the stars.
The name of the place is Babylon 5.
Following the sad lessons of the Little War, a unified Earth knew a century of golden peace and prosperity. A glorious dream dashed by the arrival of a hostile armada. Earth and her partners in the Alliance of Free Stars faced a monstrous adversary. The predatory Orquan and its hierarchy of battle thralls. There were many great battles, yet Earth was losing. But then, far across space, an amazing discovery was made deep beneath the surface of an alien world. An underground city filled with the technological wonders of the precursors, an ancient and powerful race who vanished 1,000 centuries ago. But the Orquan swept through the nearby stars, stranding our scientific team here. 20 years have passed. We have continued our research. We now know what the precursors built here. It is a factory for building starships. But there are only enough materials to build the skeleton of one vessel. Yet that must be enough. Because you must pilot the vessel and return to Earth. And if the war with the Orquan still rages, fight for Earth and the Alliance as well as you can.
Yeah. It's really cool. I think I like the more the PC intro a little bit better, but it's such a cool setup, I think. You know, you go to this planet, or you're the explorers, you go to this planet, you find this stuff, but you get cut off and you don't know what's going on. So it's very much like it's been 20 years, you don't know what's going on. Oh, this is some other intro. Some other game. Let's go here. You don't know what's going on, what have you. So you're flying this skeleton ship, right? See if I can get to Earth. This is the solar system, Earth, coming back. And you don't know what's going on. So you've been completely cut off. Slow down. Turn so slowly. Go back. There we go. No! It takes quite some getting used to. Come on, Earth. Is this Earth? Earth! Uh-oh. I don't like that guy.
Attention, interloper. Heed this recorded message. This drone vessel speaks with the voice and authority of the Urquan. You are trespassing within Urquan space. This world, Earth, may not be approached for any reason, nor will hostilities against our orbital platform be tolerated. In addition, your ship does not respond to standard hierarchy identification transmissions, and is therefore deemed to be independent. This is not permissible. Only subservience shall be tolerated. This drone now leaves to inform the Urquan of your transgressions. You are commanded to remain here and await the arrival of the Urquan. Disobedience will be punished.
Now, it's interesting that they knew exactly which transgressions were going to transpire in this pre-recorded message. I wonder if it was actually like a message, it would make more sense if it was actually like a message that had like different parts, in it, and says, oh, you're unidentified or whatever, and it was smart enough to pick. Little odd, I guess. So the Earth is like, you can't get to the Earth, right? I know this because I played it before, but let's scan it. It's exactly one Earth distance from the sun. Is exactly one Earth mass. It's exact, because it's Earth. There's a lot of that, and I don't know what the two is. At 22 degrees, that's Celsius. I believe it's 23 orbital tilt. Yeah, we know that. But you can't go down to it because there's this shield around the Earth, right? Now, you'll see up in the, on the right side, it's the Vindicator, right? It's Captain Zelnick, Field 10, all that sort of stuff, the crew. If you look, the ship that I'm piloting is the big thing in the middle, and then the ship that sort of looks like a double up sort of a USS Enterprise, but it's like a 4 nacelles. But you know, back to back instead of like 4 up and down or whatever in 3D. You know, it's whatever. That is your survey ship that you took out to explore stuff, and then you built this skeleton thing. That's the thing in the intro. So yeah, I'm getting into this game now and not doing whatever's. But
attention, unidentified space vessel. I am Starbase Commander Hayes of the slave planet Earth. Our hyperwave broadcast is extremely weak. Situation critical. Energy cores exhausted. Scanners and deep radar are non-functional. We cannot identify your vessel. Are you the scheduled hierarchy resupply ship? Repeat, are you the resupply vessel? The starship what? Never mind, look. We won't last much longer. Here's our situation. According to our oath of fealty to the Urquan, we must maintain the starbase, but we have no space vessels of our own, and the shield prevents us from contacting Earth, so we're totally dependent on the Urquan supply vessels for everything we need up here. We know there's a hierarchy base on the surface of the moon, but we can't contact them. The Urquan were supposed to resupply the base at regular 5-year intervals, but we haven't received anything in almost 8 years. What we don't recycle, we can usually synthesize, but to do so, we need replacement radioactives for our generator energy cores. If you could bring us some radioactive elements, we can fabricate the cores ourselves. Are you willing to help us?
yeah, I'm just gonna do
Thanks, I'll make sure to mention this the next time I talk with our masters. I'm sure they will reward you.
because I know where they are, because I played this before. They're on the moon. No, they're on Mercury, I think. But there is stuff on the moon. Here's the energy scan, there's the base. And then you put a lander on. And you try to figure out where you want to put it. I forget. There's a key to figure out what these minerals are and stuff. Wow. Can't shoot anything. Okay, whatever. Aluminum. Yeah. Whatever. But I think you get the radioactives on like Mercury. He tells you. You can ask. There, got one. Such a good game. Oh, did I just shoot that? Like, mineral deposit? Oops. I don't know if I can shoot all these. I need some calcium. Good for bones, right? So you can go here. Report from surface. We have discovered an alien base and have explored its interior. The installation must have been abandoned many years ago, but great care has been taken to make it appear active. Life support systems are functioning. Fusion generators are at full output. And robotic construction vehicles have been programmed to roam the lunar surface, bulldozing moon dust into random piles. In addition, we have found the installation's hyperwave locked in transmit mode, endlessly playing the same alien recording. Although we cannot translate the message, our Xenotech, Ensign Rigby, believes the message is some kind of alert or mayday broadcast. The base is filled with useful materials and equipment. We will scavenge as much as we can and bring it aboard immediately. Yeah, I think you get some radioactives here or something. I don't know. Navigate. And we're just gonna go over. Not gonna go too far in this. This is a long game. This obviously we're not playing this game for whatever. I think that helps them though.
Did you find any radioactive elements for our power cores?
Yeah, so he's going to say
The fastest way to get radioactives in this system would be to land on Mercury and scour the surface for deposits of radioactive elements. But be careful. Mercury's a pretty inhospitable place. Watch out for earthquakes and those high temperature areas. Hurry back, Captain.
So you go to Mercury, get the things, it revives the space station. You tell him about, you know, what's going on with the moon and stuff, and he joins your forces, and you go out and explore the galaxy and meet many, many different, varied, humorous, funny, dangerous, scary, all kinds of races, you know, alien races, and it's a lot of fun. It's amazing. So I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been instructional, informative, entertaining, some sort of value to you. If you like that, if you've gone this far in it, you know, you might want to subscribe. Just saying. And you know, so I hope this has been good for you, and I hope to see you on another video sometime. So take care, guys.